Hi guys, this is the Idaho Picker and welcome to part 2 of the DC shooting, a closer look, part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, please see the link below, or just click on my channel name, Idaho Picker Reloaded, and you will see a list of my videos. Just click on videos and you can see part 1 of this as well. What we're going to do in part 2 here is we're going to look at some of the numerology, some of the numbers that they chose to use surrounding this event, right? Okay, and as I go along through it, in the beginning you might be thinking this ain't much, but hang in there towards the end and see if you don't see a little pattern of numerology, you might say. Okay, so now let's just get started here. If we take a look at simple numbers like September 16th, 2013, which is when this took place, of course, right? The numbers that have been showing up in these what you would call false flag events that take place, or planned events, or however you want to look at it, is 7 and 11s and 13s tend to show up a lot. Of course, we can't avoid the fact that this is 2013, but it was on the 16th. And the way that numerology works is you would simply just add the 1 plus the 6 and you'd get a 7. So we have our first 7, right? So we'll come on down here and take a look at, says that Alexis was killed by police at 9:20. 9 plus 2 plus 0 is an 11. So we have our first 11. So let's see what else we see. Here's another couple of pieces here. Says, talking about the perpetrator arrived at Washington, D.C. Area on or around August 25th. 2 plus 5, 7, right? And then it says he was at the Residence Inn in Southwest Washington since September 7th. Another 7, right? What else do we see? It says the shooting began around 8:16. Of course, we got 1 plus 6 is another 7 there, and all of these aren't exact, but just bear with me and see what you think by the end of this. Okay. Now, of course, you always got to throw in a 9/11. Of course, 9 plus 1 is an 11, and then of course down here you've got 1150. Says his death was confirmed at 1150. Well, you got 1 plus 1 plus 5 equals 7. Another 7, plus you got 11 right there as well, of course. And then if we move over here a little bit, we can see that he was fatally shot in the head at 9:25. So of course, again, you got another 2 plus 5 there is another 7. And of course, if you just take into account the so-called perpetrator's age, he was 34. 3 plus 4 equals 7. Okay. We're also going to look into his name and his date of birth to the date that he died, and look at those numbers as well here in just a moment. Now, looking at Aaron Alexis's date of birth to his end date when he was supposedly killed, right? That was, his date of birth was 5/9/1979. Date of death 9/16/2013. Okay. Now, if you calculate that, you will find out that it's 34 years, 4 months, and 7 days. Or another way to look at that is 7/11. 3 plus 4 is 7, 4 months, 7 days, 11. You just can't make this stuff up. And then a couple of interesting things that actually are tied into this. This slide and the next one are tied together. I'm going to read this to you. It says, on September 17th, gun control activists and relatives of victims of shootings that occurred at Sandy Hook Elementary School, Aurora, Colorado, and the Oak Creek, Wisconsin Sikh Temple shooting, all 3 of which that have been definitively shown as false flag attacks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you just simply have to research those events. Take a look at a number of the videos that you'll find online that are talking about that it's a false flag or that it's exposed or a hoax, and make a choice for yourself, just like you're doing in this video, okay? So it's referencing those people showing up. They came to Washington to protest for stricter gun control, right? Of course, that's what we've all been assuming that this is all about, gun control. You know, they want to take away our guns like they did in Australia so that the crime statistics go through the roof. Home invasions go through the roof. If you know no honest person's got a gun, if you're a criminal and you're going to still have your gun, who are you going to rob? Now, it also is another 7 here, just to point it out, is on September 25th, Hewlett-Packard fired the computer firm, the experts that supposedly employed Aaron Alexis on the 25th. Another 7, of course. Another interesting tie-in, at least to me, because of the whole Sandy Hook, Newton, Connecticut thing, is that the place that he bought his gun supposedly is called the Inside Sharpshooters in Newington. Kind of like Newton? In Newington. In a gun store there called Inside Sharpshooters. Found that interesting as well. Now we're going to take a look at some other interesting stuff that's even a little bit more surprising. Now what you're looking at here is a little bit smaller. Might be able to blow it up here. Let me see. Okay, there, it's blowing up a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to look at Aaron Alexis's name and look at the numerology around that. What I have on the left hand side is a chart of the alphabet. Okay, A through Z all the way down, and then right beside that the corresponding number that represents that letter. Okay, A equals 1, B equals 2, and so on. Now if we take Aaron Alexis's name and we take a look at it, okay, there it is. Okay, let's start with A equals 1, A equals 1, R equals 18, and you can see I got all the numbers in place. But I'll bury you all the idea of actually going through each one here, okay? But here's a few of the points I want to make sure you see. I looked at this 2 different ways, okay? I took these numbers, number 1, 1, 18, 15, and 14, and I added them up, okay, which produced a 49, okay? Now, 4 plus 9 equals 13. Interesting enough. Then you come back and you add the numerals by themselves. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 4, and that gives you a 22, which the base common denominator for that is actually an 11. And what a 22 would represent, which is a big time Illuminati number, even more big is the number 11, well, a 22 is 2 11s is what that represents, because again you just simply bust that number in half. Okay, that's the way it works. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Alexis. Okay, now if we take Alexis, do the same thing, add these numbers up, of course. Okay, we're going to get a 70 or a 7. If you add the numbers 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5 and so on in that order, it gives you a 34, which is a 7. Okay? Interesting a little bit maybe? Now, if you take Aaron Alexis, all the numbers all the way across, okay, Aaron Alexis, and add all those numbers up, what do you think you get? Well, you get 119, which is 1 plus 1 plus 9 equals another 11. This don't happen by chance, people. This is planned. That's all numerology. That's what these elites use. More and more of y'all guys are starting to understand this, and in fact this is what they use in order to make their plans. I can't say I'm an expert on it yet, but I'm still learning it. Now I got one more thing else to show you, okay? Now if we come on down just a little bit down here and come back over here, you see this big number here all the way across, right? What that is the date 10/16/2013 and the coordinates, longitude and latitude, okay, of the location of this shooting. Longitude, latitude, and the date all those numbers there. And then I've taken those numbers and I've spread them out across here, and I've assigned them a letter based on the number. And I have one request, and I'm going to show you something, okay, as well. The request is for someone to tell me that's good at like scramble, okay. Pause this video and look at all these numbers, and tell me what these letters could say, what kind of words they could produce. So pause this and check that out, and put the comments below. See what words you're seeing, okay? Now, if we take that number, all these numbers here, and we add them up, okay, just go across and add them up. I'll show you what we come up with if we add them all up, all individually. You come up with a 92, and of course 9 plus 2, of course, is another 11. Now, is someone still going to claim, and of course someone will, but is someone going to still claim that all this numerology is by chance? All these 11s and 7s and occasional 13s. I mean, you can't add this up any other way. You get these numbers. This is what comes out of it. It's quite amazing. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you today on this special investigation of the DC Naval Yard shooting. I hope that this was interesting to you in seeing how they operate. And based on the numerology and based on everything else I've seen and a few other videos even that I've done, I can say definitively this was, at least at a minimum, a planned event. And when you go out and you look at other events that are going on and anything going on in life, use logic before authority.